Love you.
All right, I'm also paying information. You know where Kenny the Jet Smith at?
Yes, I got Kenny too. I know exactly where he's at.
Okay, now this one right here gets you going to I'm gonna give you some motherfucking big dollars. Do you know where Ernie Johnson is at?
Ooh, let me work on that one right quick. That's a tough one.
Alright, and remember, I'm paying top dollar for all that information. Love you, boy. Hey, don't tell nobody.
Alright,
Alright, go.
Shannon Sharpe ain't holding back no more. He's coming straight for Shaquille O'Neal's neck. This ain't about no basketball drama. This is deeper, dirtier, and way more personal.
Steve Nash.
Word on the street, Shaq might have set Shannon up with a jaw-dropping $50 million lawsuit just as he was about to lock down a massive $100 million deal with DSPN. Now tell me that ain't suspicious timing. People saying this lawsuit didn't just appear out of nowhere. It landed right when Shannon was about to level up. And boom, suddenly he pulls out of the deal? That ain't no coincidence. This might just be Shaq playing the long game. Revenge style. These two been throwing shade at each other for years.
That man said he'll give you a chance.
You think Jay-Z or
probably not a good time right now.
You're silly, man. You're silly. You're wrong. You're silly, man. You're silly, man.
Go see if you can fix the wall, will you, Shaq?
The wall, man.
Yeah. Here, back here.
Fix the wall,
I'll go
man.
see if I can fix the wall.
My point was...
Too soon, Kenny.
My point was...
Alright, and remember, I'm paying top dollar for all that information. Love you, boy. Hey, don't tell nobody.
Alright, one.
Alright, go.
But now it looks like Shaq is pulling moves behind the scenes. And it gets messier. Word is there's a leaked audio floating around, and in it, Shaquille's allegedly out here asking folks for dirt on Shannon, digging around, trying to pull up old skeletons, and guess what? Rumors say he found something big, something nasty enough to shake Shannon's whole world up. But that's not where it ends. The lawsuit, it involves a woman named Gabriella Zika, but insiders say she ain't even the first woman Shaq used in this twisted setup. Supposedly, there was another case before this one. And guess what? Shaq's fingerprints are all over that one too. This thing is looking like a whole trap, and Shannon might have walked right into it. Receipts are starting to pop up left and right, and it's not looking good.
You well enough. You in a Shaq situation, right?
Now here's where things really start heating up. Let's talk Matt Barnes. Back in early 2022, Matt's just out here minding his own, staying in the sports mix like always. Then out of nowhere, an audio clip starts spreading like wildfire. And who's in it? Allegedly, it's Matt talking about how Shaq was willing to throw down serious cash just to dig up dirt on Shannon Sharpe. We're talking serious cash on the table. Not no fake flex or play money. This was real street-level hush-hush type spending. Now let's talk about that audio clip. Where it came from? That part's still fuzzy. Some say it was a leaked private convo. Others swear it was picked up during a podcast, or maybe even a hot mic situation. Either way, there's no mistaking that voice. It was clearly Matt Barnes, and what he said? It hit hard. Matt wasn't just saying Shaq had a little beef over some MVP drama. Nah, he made it sound like Shaq was ready to hit below the belt just to get at Shannon. And if you look at the timeline, it all lines up. Remember when things exploded after that MVP mess involving Nikola Jokic? Shannon hinted that Shaq's reaction came off a little jealous. And Shaq? He did not like that one bit. But instead of firing shots on social media like most do, Shaq took the billionaire route. Cold, calculated, and quiet. Here's where it gets shady. After the MVP noise, things got real silent between the two. No more online jabs. No interviews with shade, nothing. People actually thought they patched it up, but behind the scenes? Word is, Shaq was already setting his plan in motion, starting to dig, collect dirt, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. And when you look at how high Shannon's stock was rising, new podcast contracts, primetime guest spots, and whispers of that massive $100 million DSPN deal, it makes sense Shaq would move in the dark. No noise, just pressure. But hold up, it gets even messier. Still think Shaq had nothing to do with this? Wait until we bring up this viral TMZ video. Not just any video. This one shows Shannon Sharpe getting real cozy with a fan at some event. And yeah, Shannon's always been smooth, a people magnet, friendly, charming, especially with women. And yeah, folks have noticed he tends to lean toward white ladies. That ain't new. But this clip, it felt too clean, like it was set up just right. Shannon's laughing, leaning in a little close, looking relaxed. And the internet exploded. People started whispering, speculating, questioning everything. Hold up. This whole thing smells like a setup. Especially because right after that TMZ video went viral, the same woman in the clip.
He came out with a diss track. And I heard your response to it. But his was more, there's another situation. The passion of whatever, and I believe you caught it straight, because I don't think you was, in essence, talking about it more so than Gilbert. You did. And then it spun to that. Have you guys talked?
We haven't. Shaq feels the way he feels, and he's perfectly fine to feel that way. I said what I said. I still think Shaq is a phenomenal basketball player, even though, you know, he minimized my career. I'm fine.
Her name started popping up real quiet-like in the background of this $50 million lawsuit mess. Let's be real. TMZ don't just show up out of nowhere. Somebody calls them. Somebody guides that camera. Somebody wants that footage out there. So if this was a trap, it was laid perfectly. They dangled the bait. And Shannon, just being his usual outgoing self, walked right into it. That lil moment on camera might have been all Shaq needed to start stirring the pot for real behind closed doors. Now let's break it down. The woman in the middle of this storm is Gabriella Zika. She's the one suing Shannon Sharpe for a wild $50 million. And guess who's repping her? None other than Tony Busby. That name should ring alarms. He's the same heavyweight lawyer who took on Deshaun Watson's case with all those women. And let's not forget, he's gone head-to-head with Jay-Z too. When this man steps in, he's not coming to play. He's coming for reputations. So what's Gabriella claiming? That Shannon forced himself on her, physically hurt her, and manipulated her mentally and emotionally. She says she's dealing with serious trauma, stress, and psychological damage. These are not light accusations, y'all. It's graphic, heavy stuff. But then boom, it gets even wilder. Word is, Busby got his hands on audio recordings he claims back up her story. That's when the internet really caught fire. But Shannon, he's not staying silent. He fired back immediately, saying loud and clear, play the whole 10-minute recording, not just chopped up pieces. That kind of response? That means he's confident the full audio paints a different picture. And he's not backing down. He claims Gabriella was a willing participant, and the media's just slicing clips to make him look guilty. Now here's where the whole situation takes a real dark turn, because people started digging, and what surfaced leaked texts, and not just any texts, screenshots allegedly showing Shannon and Gabriella talking about some seriously wild roleplay fantasies. We're talking extreme scenarios, including something called race play. And listen, if you don't know what that is, you might just want to leave it that way. It's deep, dark, and not something to take lightly. Let's not act like all this came out of nowhere, because Shannon Sharpe, he been telling us who he is. The man has never hidden the fact that he's into some wild stuff. Rewind it back to 2023 when he was co-hosting that Nightcap podcast with Chad Ochocinco. They started chatting about actress Yvonne Orji, the stunning queen from Insecure, and more recently, the host of that balloon challenge show on Netflix. Now, Yvonne's been super vocal about saving herself for marriage. She's proud of it. Chad threw out the idea that maybe she'd be a good fit for Shannon. And what did Shannon say? Man laughed it off and said, yeah, nah, I'm looking for a sinner. Then, without missing a beat, he dropped the name of adult film star Ms. B. Nasty. That man basically said it clear as day. He don't want no wholesome woman. He wants someone spicy, someone nasty. Ain't no shame in his game. He said it loud and proud. Now, nobody's here to shame his preferences, but let's be honest, Shannon been very open about his lifestyle. Flirty comments, wild jokes about women, and on-air thirsting. He's never been low-key about it. So now that Gabriella's lawsuit is making headlines with all these outrageous claims, can we really say we didn't see this wave coming? Man told us who he was in 4K and folks just laughed it off. But here's the kicker. Gabriella might not be the only one in this supposed Get Shannon plot. Word is, there's another case. And this one's got Shaq's name floating around too. Let's talk about Michelle Evans. Most people forgot all about her. But back in 2023, she filed a lawsuit against Shannon in New York. And this went down almost 2 years before Gabriella popped up. So technically, Michelle was first. And what she claimed, it was dark. According to legal docs pulled by People magazine, Michelle wasn't even backed by a big-name attorney. She repped herself straight up and told her story. She said she had a long-term relationship with Shannon that lasted close to 10 years, ending around 2010. But after it fell apart, reportedly because Shannon cheated, she came forward with some disturbing accusations. And the craziest part, nobody was talking about it back then, like it just slid under the radar, but now, all eyes are back on that case. And some folks say it's way too similar to what's going down with Gabriella. Michelle Evans didn't hold back. She came with heavy claims that left people stunned. She said that after their first big fight, Shannon demanded intimacy, and when she refused, what she described next was pure nightmare fuel. According to her, Shannon forced her down, made her get on her knees, and committed non-consensual oral acts. She says she said no, but he didn't stop. And it didn't end there. Michelle says Shannon then threw her onto the bed and forced himself on her, and allegedly told her, "I'm gonna make it so no other man will want you." That quote shook the internet. Now, just to be clear, Michelle isn't suing Shannon for assault in the strict legal sense, but she claims he threatened her, tried to ruin her career, and caused serious emotional pain. She also said that after speaking out, the backlash was brutal. People online called her a liar, dragged her name through the mud, and tried to erase her completely. Yes, Shannon has denied everything Michelle claimed, just like he's denied all other allegations so far. But let's be honest. Once? Maybe it's just noise. Twice? You start squinting. 3 separate women, all saying similar things? At some point, y'all, it starts to feel like we're watching a pattern unfold right in front of us. And now, everyone's quietly side-eyeing a topic that's been bubbling in the background ever since Gabriella's story broke. Those infamous Diddy parties. Now let's be fair. Shannon Sharpe has said publicly that he's never been part of Diddy's wild scenes. He's made it clear he don't mess with that so-called freaky, culty Hollywood energy. But when you look at the lawsuits, the texts, and the aggressive, controlling behavior being described, the vibe is eerily similar to what's coming out in the Diddy investigations. We're talking power trips, emotional control, coercion, threats, and silence. And fans aren't the only ones connecting dots. Remember that moment when Jay-Z and Diddy's private convos were mentioned on stage not too long ago? Guess who else was there? Shaquille O'Neal. And what did he do? He got real quiet, then stood up, and walked right off the stage. Didn't say a word, just straight ghosted the whole scene. Something's up, and more people are starting to... That moment had everybody looking sideways like, wait, does Shaquille O'Neal know something he's not saying? He never dropped Shannon's name, but the vibe, it was screaming, I know some folks who live that life and fake like they don't. Now don't forget, Shannon Sharpe's been branding himself for years as the clean-cut family man. Bible verses, inspirational talks, that whole Unc-Shay-Shay image. But these lawsuits, they're ripping that mask off, and what's underneath looks very different. Sources close to the situation been whispering that Shannon believes Shaq is playing some serious dirty chess behind the scenes, smiling in public, cracking jokes, but allegedly pulling strings in the background. While Shannon's world crashes, Shaq's out here making slick posts, throwing digital shade like it's comedy hour. Just check Shaq's recent IG activity. Man's not sweating at all. He even joked about that leaked Matt Barnes audio, posting a meme like, "Dang, got caught again. I need that info. I'm paying $2. Wild. Meanwhile, Shannon's life? It's unraveling. Fast. His rep's taking a hit. His podcast without Joe is struggling. His TV presence looking shaky. And those brand deals? They're starting to fade away. Everything he spent decades building is suddenly on life support. And here's the craziest part. The more Shannon tries to defend himself, the worse things seem to get. Every time he claps back, another leak drops. More texts, more recordings, more drama. It's like the mess multiplies every time he speaks up. All while Shaq's kicking back, unbothered, living life like none of this touches him. Dropping petty captions, laughing it up online, and not a care in the world. But now I gotta leave you with some real questions. Is Shannon Sharpe really getting done dirty right now? Or is Shaq quietly throwing him under the bus while acting innocent? And most important, can Shannon even bounce back from all this? Or is this the end of everything he built? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like, tap that subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next wild update. Because this saga, it's far from over. See you on the next one.